Listen in for some positivity and good times. The views and opinions of our guests may not necessarily reflect those of the host or the Vibes Broadcast Network. Listener discretion is advised.
Well, welcome everyone to my channel. This is the Vibes Broadcast Network. We try to bring you things like the paranormal and positivity. And kind of notice that some of my commentary that I've done, because I'll do that every once in a while, um, may not be as positive as I was hoping that it would be. And not that anybody said anything, it's just something I observed. I want to keep everything as positive as possible. And sometimes, I'm feeling a little down. So my opinion that day may not be the most positive. But that kind of goes against what I'm trying to convey to everyone, which is let's bring some inspiration and motivation into this world. There's already enough negativity going on. Let's come together. You know, seems like social media and the news and all this craziness that's going on is just driving a wedge between people. It's not going to stop unless we stop it. So this is why I wanted to take some time to talk to you and say, we can make solutions if we really want to. Unfortunately, there's going to be people out there that don't want a solution. They love the problem. Like they say, misery loves company. If you enjoy drama and things like that, then you're going to attract that kind of stuff into your life, and you're going to look for it. If you are looking for a problem in anything, you will find it. If you're looking for positivity or answers or even solutions to certain problems, if you're looking for that, then you can find it, but you got to want it, which is why I do what I do. I'm trying to bring more positivity in my life. I'm looking for answers. I don't have all the answers. I'm not some, big brain scholar that knows everything. I'm seeking out truths and you know to try to solve problems by way of talking to people. That's what we need. We need open dialogue. That's why I invite anybody to come on my show. I don't care if our opinions don't align, whether that be political or spiritual, uh, uh, whatever. I'm open to listen to people. And sometimes I do take a stance, and you should. If you have certain values in your life, you should take a certain stance, but you should also be willing to listen to other people, keep your mind open. Now, I am not one for this divide that's going on in the country, but just like when you're married to someone and the differences get to be bigger than the relationship itself, and you can't look past those, you can't solve these problems, you can't come to a compromise, then sometimes a divorce is necessary. I think that should be the last resort, but some relationships are just toxic and you have to split. And I understand why certain states are wanting to leave the Union of the United States. And it's on both sides of the political aisle. I understand it. I don't like it. I wish that we could come together and compromise on certain things, but some people are so, I don't know, they're it's like a rock that's not, you can't move. It's they won't compromise whatsoever, and that's sad. Is it going to come down to it? I don't know. I kind of think it will, but we don't have to let that happen. That's just it. If we're looking for a solution and we really want it, we can find it. Um, Stop demonizing each other just because you don't have the same opinions. I don't demonize my parents because they didn't like heavy metal music. That's something I liked. They liked all the Bobby Vintons and Jan and Deans of the music world, which is fine. I've got some friends that like hip hop and rap, and I personally don't care for it. Do I want to get rid of it? No. If I don't want to listen to it, I don't listen to it. But sometimes, you know what? My kids want to listen to it and they're in the car. I have to suck it up and I have to listen to it. Point being is we don't have to always like the same things, but should I just disown my children or my parents or anyone else because they like some type of music that I may not care for, or my friends that like a different football team than I do, or my friends that vote for somebody else than I would? Why should I give up a friendship? Why is that decision more important than my friendships or my relationships, even my relationship with family? We cannot let these things get between us, but unfortunately there is reality in the world that not everybody's going to think that way. So we have to prepare ourselves for the worst but hope for the best. I can't stop being hopeful that things are going to get better, but I have to be prepared if the reality is that it doesn't get better. I just know that I welcome anybody to my show as long as you're not conveying a message of hatred or harm to people. I don't understand why I can't have somebody on my show that thinks a different way than I do, votes a different way than I do, goes to a different church, wears different types of clothes, listens to different type of music. That shouldn't be the reason why I don't have people on my show. If your message is harmful, I'm judging you by your character. So I probably won't have you on my show. Now, I may have you come on and we'll have this conversation and then realize that what you're saying is just hurtful and mean, and then decide not to put it out there. But it doesn't mean I'm not open to at least talk to somebody. I think you should always have an open line of communication and talk to people. I hope this sounds more positive because that's the whole point of all this. It's like therapy for me too. I have met so many wonderful people. This podcasting world, even though I'm not a rich man doing this in the sense of monetary, but I am rich that I have met so many people and have made so many good friends, people that I probably would never been able to talk to before if I didn't have this platform. I mean, whether they're famous or not, it's that's not what I'm looking for. It's your character. What kind of person are you? Can we have a conversation? That's that's what I'm talking about. That's it is one of the most precious things in this world when you can make friends and bring people into your life that weren't there before. We are born with our family, and that part we don't get to choose. But when you choose people to bring into your life and make them part of your family, that's what's special. In Jewish custom, and this is what I was taught. So if I am wrong, forgive me, but this is what I was taught in Jewish custom. If someone adopted a child and brought him into their family, they actually got more rights to the the property that was left behind by the parents. Reason being is you chose this person to be in your family, so that kind of makes it a lot more special. I think that's actually awesome. But I guess my point is that you're sharing something with someone who wasn't just naturally part of your family, and that's a, that's what makes it unique. I hope I got this point across the best I could. I think about these things for sometimes days on end and hour after hour. I try to think of how I'm going to say it, and I've got it in my head one way, but it comes out another. But I hope I made the point. You know, make friends. If we're ever going to have peace, that's how you do it, is you make friends. You get out and you get to know your neighbors. And as long as you let things or opinions get in the way, then there will never be peace. That's what it's going to take, is you have to accept the fact that people are going to have different opinions than you do. And okay, here's the social media thing. I've heard about this whistleblower from Facebook wants to censor things a lot more. Okay, in some aspects I understand, but censoring folks can get very dangerous, because eventually you will not be able to have an opinion. Eventually you will not be able to think for yourself. And if you're okay with that, hey, that's fine. That's the way you feel about it. I myself feel like that is a dangerous thing. And you know, free speech, you should be able to say what you want to say, but if it's causing actual harm, that, I guess that's when you can draw the line. Other than that, you should be able to say whatever you want to say. And don't label somebody's opinion as misinformation if it is an opinion. If you come out and you deliberately tell somebody misinformation, okay, that's misinformation. If I tell you that my neighbor is a alien from the planet Venus, that's more than likely misinformation. But if I tell you my neighbor is an a-hole, that's my opinion. It's not quite, a distinction. It's not black and white, I guess that is the phrase. There's, this is a very thin line that you're walking here of what's opinion, what's actual misinformation. I can tell you, I like this person, I don't like this person, and give you my reasons why. That is an opinion. But if I come out and I say, my neighbor is a murderer and never killed anybody in their life, that's misinformation. But then there's other aspects of it. It's hard to explain what I'm trying to say here, but because you believe a certain way, if there's facts to back up something else and you want to call it misinformation because you don't feel like it's the right thing, that's not good either. This conversation can go in all kinds of directions here, but I just feel like, and this is my opinion, take it or leave it, even if I don't like your opinion, you should be able to say it on social media without getting canceled. But if you're going out there and you're saying something to cause actual harm to somebody else, that's when I think you should draw the line. I don't know. Some people think you should be able to say whatever you want to say no matter what. I I don't think it's so cut and dry, There's but your opinion is not necessarily fact. Somebody else's opinion is not necessarily misinformation. We should just have an open conversation and discuss these things. Let's come to a compromise. What can we say that we can all agree to that can make it a better place? I I think that social media can be very helpful, but I also believe that social media can be very harmful. But you take the good and you take the bad. You can either make it work for you, or you can cause whatever's going on in this country right now, which is splitting us apart. But I hope you come back for my interviews, because I've got some great people coming on. There's some folks that want to genuinely help you. They want to um, they want to inspire you, motivate you to do the things that you want to do in this life, whether that's in your career or in your life in general. I mean, some of us have to work on our personalities, some of us have to work on our attitudes. And I definitely, you never stop learning. That's the great part of this life, is you never stop learning. You can always improve yourself. There's always, even the smallest thing to the biggest thing, you can always change something. So that's why I bring the people on that I do. I try to get to know the people in the paranormal world a little more personal. So you don't just know them for going out and hunting ghosts. You know about them, the person. When you get to know them, you find out if this is the kind of person you'd like to hang out with. You know, some big names in the paranormal world that they're just genuinely good people, and those are the people that I like hanging out with, and I'm proud to say that they're my friends. There's people in acting and music and comedy and all these different forms of entertainment that I tried to bring a more personal view of their life, so you can get to know them, who they really are, not just their craft. There's more to people than just, oh, I can play guitar or I can play drums. I like to go look at nature, or there's just different things. It's really nice to know about somebody, so you get to know them on a more personal level. I think that would solve a lot of our problems if we would just get to know people on a personal level, and not just what they do for a living, what they're famously known for. But I'm going to leave it at that. I could sit here and I could talk to you all day about these things. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If there's something you'd like to talk about, if there's something that you don't like about the show, I want to hear that too. Any kind of feedback is helpful. It helps me to be a better person, and it helps me to bring you better content. I actually got my first really bad critique the other day, which I have an opinion of why that happened. I don't think it was so much of my content as this person was. And I don't know this for a fact, because the person I found out was trying to scam me, was pretending to be somebody else, and I called them out on it, and I ended up having to block them. I think that's why they did what they did. Maybe this person genuinely just thinks my content sucks, and they called me I can't even say the word, but anyway, if they genuinely didn't like me, hey, thank you. Appreciate that. That makes me feel like we're equal. I'm equal with everybody else because you dislike me. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. You take care. God bless, and peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favourite podcasts, and on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network,